Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
That's right, KK. Tell them subscribe to Listen Up. I'm back with Ryan. Ryan, thanks for joining me. I told you to kind of get in the mood on this. What is this, Wednesday night, Ryan, October the 4th? We're so used to getting up early with our coffee, right? Scrambled eggs. I told you, Ryan, we have about a month left until the regular season opens. And I'm like, man, we have to get used to these late night recording episodes. So thank you, Ryan, for coming on with me as we have some very important information. I know we wanted to discuss the WNBA preview of the finals. That can hold until Friday because let me tell you why, Ryan. And this is straight out of CT Insider. Again, excited as I've ever been. UConn women's basketball team begins practices with healthy Paige Beckers. And I told you that today, Ryan. I said, we missed it yesterday. So the team practiced for the very first time, Ryan, yesterday, Tuesday. We're covering it now. I know a little bit late, but hey, it's better than nothing. But I tell you what, I can't wait to see what our subs and Ryan has to say because you know why, Ryan? Again, the biggest headline for me, Paige Beckers. But you know what? This is interesting. I'm going to tell you this, Ryan, and then leave it to you. For some reason, I think that it's like you get excited. Yeah, it's kind of, you're excited, it's coming. But then when you actually see the team start practicing, Ryan, you know what my number one takeaway? I thought about it earlier today. And my number one takeaway, I think right here, you and I right here, sitting here on this episode right now, this is actually more exciting than that Europe tour.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and we're just talking about practice, right?
Yeah, just practice. But I mean, it is really exciting, though. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that there's only 1 month separating from now and the regular season. So that's really hard to believe. We're already in October, but this is also the earliest UConn has ever practiced. Usually, it wouldn't be for a couple weeks. So it definitely caught me by surprise when they did hold their first practice day. But I'm definitely glad they did. Of course, the earliest they've ever practiced. But Geno expressed how ready the team was and their anticipation to get back onto the court. He knew the team was ready. He could sense the anticipation and just the team wanting to get reps in, which is always good to hear. Of course, like you mentioned, a lot of the attention was on Paige Beckers, which comes at no surprise. But she was asked about her future at UConn. Now, remember, this is technically her junior year, so she still has 1 year left if she decides to come back next year and play. But Becker said, we'll have to see. So I don't think she's quite sure yet, which is understandable. It would be really surprising to me if, honestly, she doesn't come back. I'm really expecting her to, but I guess we'll just see how the season plays out. But it definitely is good to see Paige at 100%. But UConn, though, is not completely healthy just yet. Ayanna Patterson and Amari DeBerry did not practice on Tuesday. Geno said he hopes they're ready by the early November when the regular season does start. Aubrey Griffin as well, the fifth-year senior player that I'm keeping my eye on for this season. She was in and out of drills, kind of taking it easy. Geno said that she twisted her foot, so kind of expecting her to be ready, but I think just taking it easy so she doesn't get injured anymore. And the other one is Caroline Ducharme was also not fully participating in all the drills. So for Caroline's sake, I really hope she can get healthy in a month before the season starts. I think she's really talented. We all know she's really talented, and it's been disappointing so far that her career has been really haunted by these injuries. A lot of ups and downs for her so far. But on another note, I want to make another piece of information that Geno shared with us, talking about the freshman KK Arnold, Cadence Samuels, Ashlyn Shade, and the redshirt freshman Ice Brady. Geno said that the freshman will, quote, play an awful lot this season, end quote. So that's definitely something to look forward to, something to get exciting about. Definitely looking forward to see what these freshmen have to provide in getting the opportunities. So it's definitely exciting that it looks like all these freshmen are expected to get pretty big minutes this season.
Man, you said a lot. I don't even know where to start. So this is definitely a new era. Um, I'll just say LSU, and that's all I have to say, Ryan. I could go on with some other teams that has built a strong roster and a resume, but hey, respect to them. Respect to them. Not saying anything bad about them. Respect to them. They're doing their thing, right? But again, this is not. Let's understand what this is. Geno Auriemma's 39th season in Stores. All right.
Yeah.
Now, this is not like maybe year 1 through 5 when he came in and started his head coaching career. So you have that. So I liked what you said about the rookies getting a lot of playing time. I like that. You know why? Not only does it break them through, Ryan, all right? Not only does it break them through, you know what that does? And I might be wrong. I might be right. Phil's always wrong. We know that. Phil's always wrong. But you know what that does, Ryan? Think about it, and I want to hear your take on this beautiful Wednesday night, right? 65 degrees. All right, I'll stop about the forecast. You know what this does, Ryan? Is the top team, the high powered teams, along with UConn in this country, it kind of doesn't have them all prepared in a way, does it? Because think about it, we've never seen these rookies in real-time games. So how do you prepare if you're, say, LSU or, any of the other teams going down the list? So there's that. And then the fact of the matter, I love this. I had to read this to you. UConn women's basketball began official practices for the 23-24 season Tuesday, October 3rd, yesterday, Ryan, at Worth Champions Center. It's the earliest the team has ever started practicing under Auriemma. That's what you told me. And that's another big take that I loved. I loved that you brought that up because, in fact, if it was his decision to do that, oh my, that's pretty darn amazing to me. That some people might overlook that. Heck, Ryan might even overlook that. Ryan, please do not. I'm telling you now, please do not overlook that, because as many injuries as this team has had the last 2 or 3 years, to me, that is the best decision. Break them in slowly, easily, right? Slowly but surely, just like our saying goes, right? Slowly but surely, November is coming.
Yeah, and a lot of anticipation, like I was saying, and also I think a sense of revenge too, and kind of wanting to get back to March Madness and ensure that they can bring that 12th banner that Aaliyah was talking about, being able to hang that 12th banner up on the UConn stadium and where they practice. So I think it's kind of gotten everybody motivated and comes along with that anticipation of wanting to get back out there with all their teammates together and with all the coaches and just wanting to work. So it's definitely a really good sign to see the team wanting to practice together and wanting to practice as early as ever. But yeah, I think it's interesting that Geno said that about the freshmen, and I'm definitely glad that he said it, because like we saw with the 4 games in the European tour, it might not have been the best competition, but we did get to see, a lot of the players, and we were really looking forward to see the freshmen. KK obviously stood out as, one of the best players of the whole tour, and not just the freshmen, but definitely looking forward to see what Cadence has to offer, and Ashlyn Shade as well. So, like I said before, this team is so deep, and I definitely thought the freshmen would have a chance, especially with the injuries. Of course, we can never predict those, but I think Geno just wants to make sure everybody's ready as well, and nothing happens like it did last season where, we're kind of just throwing players into the lineup that aren't necessarily 100% ready for that starting role. But I think with all these freshmen, the 3 that just came in this class, I think they can all be ready for that spot start that they may see throughout the season.
And now I was getting ready to say the name because you know who I'm a big fan of. I think it's pretty obvious, huh? As far as freshmen go, we might as well, Ryan. We had an episode on who's the breakout player, who we think is going to break out this season, primed to break out. Why don't we choose just in that specific freshman class? I'm sure you know who I'm going with. I'm sure that I know who or maybe I don't know who you're going with. But again, Ryan, a side note, I know we did receive some comments that, the pod is maybe getting too boring and this and that. Hey, look, let me remind you, November is coming, Ryan. And we want to remind everybody, I know you did as well, that, hey, it's not as easy as it looks sometimes. We do have a team behind us. And hey, that starts with Alston and down the line. So we want to remind everybody, Ryan, right, to always support, not necessarily you and I, even to support the UConn women's basketball team, because again, we're doing a lot of things to try to update this channel. Maybe we had a lot of feedback, Ryan, get some more pictures in there, get some more highlight video reels going. So, hey, Ryan, we got their back. You know, they brought us here this far, so we got to have their back. And you know who else we have? We have Jason D'Amico's back, Ryan. And he goes, oof, y'all said undefeated. I am not going to come out and say it's possible just yet, but Paige and AZ have something to prove this year. I still think one of the X factors of this team is going to be Amari DeBerry. It will be critical that UConn has a player that can give Aaliyah Edwards a break, or at least compliment her in some way. I'm not sure the rookies can do that yet. Peace.
It's definitely a good point, and I think along with Amari and Ayana, and unfortunately, those were the two players that didn't practice on Tuesday. But like Geno said, hopefully they're ready for the beginning of the season. UConn definitely needs somebody to, like Jason just said, kind of step up beside Aaliyah or come in for Aaliyah. When Aaliyah needs a rest on the bench. So obviously losing Dorky Juhász last season was a pretty big loss, but Aaliyah stepped up in a big way. So I think if she can kind of provide a similar performance that she did last year, not going to be easy, like I said, but I think, there is more health coming, more help coming, and hopefully they can stay healthy. But I think Ice Brady too, we can't overlook Ice Brady coming back last year from that injury. I think she can play a really big part in the upcoming season as well.
This one, Ryan, I appreciate the disruptive one came through because he's one of our big time supporters, but I kind of don't like this comment all that much. But again, we appreciate him saying it how it is, like you and I do, huh? So many times. UConn is starting again, he said it how it is as far as his opinion. I don't know. I don't really like it. We'll see what you think. UConn is starting to struggle with recruiting, in my opinion. Chelly and Zabel are coming because it has been their dream to come to UConn. UConn hasn't won a title in a long time and won't be getting kids like that for much longer if they don't turn this thing around. Also, even though UConn has had some success with the portal, they are not that skilled at utilizing it. I am seeing some signs that UConn will not be able to compete in this new era.
Well, I think UConn just made it so easy for so many years. They made it look so easy that there really was no worry that, the thought never came to anybody's mind that UConn's, not going to be able to get it done. But I think, this 5-year drought, or however long the title drought has gone on for now, I think, these questions start to arise, and the struggles, and there's a lot of questions definitely surrounding UConn as of late. But I don't think UConn's in rebuild mode, or they're in panic mode whatsoever. I think most of these players that come to UConn, most of them say that it is their childhood dream to come to UConn. So I don't necessarily think that has anything to do with it, in my opinion. But and I think in terms of the transfer portal is too, like we said on the last episode, even though UConn doesn't get the big name players, Geno and the coaching staff somehow finds a way to to find the perfect fit for the UConn system. And I think it's really important to kind of find the right fit, and to make sure that we have the right players that Geno wants, and he wants to make sure that they're going to be utilized to their fullest potential when they do come to UConn.
And I'm not saying, Ryan, that that's what makes this whole thing fun, because it's not, as far as injuries go. But someone made a good point that I saw the other day, and they were saying, how do we know? I mean, you and I don't wish this on any team, anybody. I I hope anyone out there never wishes injury on anyone. But Ryan, what I'm saying is they made a good point. What's saying that LSU doesn't catch the injury bug? What's
Yeah.
saying that South Carolina doesn't? What's saying that any team other than UConn, of course, huh? What's saying that any other team is not going to catch this bug that's been going around UConn since you and I has been on this podcast? That's why I tell you, Ryan, why is it so safe in some people's minds in their, to give their opinion so quick? LSU's winning it all. Come on, Ryan. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, well, I think that just comes with the excitement of the transfer portal and just all the big name players. And like I said, they're definitely the best, roster on paper, but it's all about what they can do on the court. And I think, because of the amount and the number of injuries that UConn's seen the past 2 years, it kind of sets definitely a negative tone. And it seems like it's only happening to UConn, but it definitely happens to other teams. But of course, we hope everybody can stay healthy. It's definitely more fun, when everybody's healthy and we can kind of see what each and every team is made of.
Okay, we'll leave it off right there, Ryan, on this Wednesday night. And a preview of the WNBA Finals coming up Friday morning with Phil and Rye right here on Listen Up. And I tell you what, Ryan, between Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, oh my goodness, these are two generational players, most likely, definitely, probably future Hall of Famers. We can't wait to discuss it. We all know that you can't wait. Ryan, before I let you go, Geno said to the reporters that he's not nervous like he was 39 years ago, but he is excited. But when it comes to you and I, Ryan, I think, how could you not be nervous if you're Phil or Rye? It's Phil and Rye on Listen Up.